2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars.
Hey Andy, what's going on? Good
Not,
morning.
not much. Good morning. We're switching this up. We're gonna do mornings because every time we record late at night, by the time I edit the next morning, new things have happened and our show is irrelevant. So we're gonna switch this around. First of all, we do have to address the fact that we haven't recorded in a week. I had a couple people text me asking me where the new shows are. For the record, let's do a survey. Who here is over 40 years old and a crazy man? If you are, raise your right hand.
Uh,
Do you care to tell anybody what happened there, buddy?
oh yeah, I had a bike accident. We
Bike
can leave it
accident.
at that.
So three days in the hospital, a couple plates and screws.
Couple plates and screws. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Surgery. Yeah. Pain, uncomfortable. This is the biggest bone that I've ever broke, so it's yeah,
yeah.
not fun.
So I realized my mortality a couple years ago, but I feel like if you were to be like, "Hey, let's go ride our bicycles really fast down a hill," I would say no. I'm going to get hurt doing that. Have you switched to that mode, or are you still like, "Oh, as soon as I'm healthy, I'm going to ride my bike really fast down hills"?
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep riding bikes.
Really fast down hills?
Sure.
Okay.
There's a hill I'm not gonna like.
I'll be riding the brakes the whole way down. That's the way I'm
I
living my life
mean,
these days.
yeah,
Anyhow,
I'm just gonna keep riding my bike like normal.
okay. Well,
Like
I'm
no,
glad.
like a normal person, Andy,
Yes, like a
who
normal
lives life.
like a normal 43-year-old, not really
A
fast down
person who
hills.
lives life.
Okay, I like it. I,
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I'm glad you're moving around and better. So, you missed out. So last week on Sunday was the UFC fights, and Donald Trump came out 2 hours before the UFC fights and said, "We have a deal. We have a full agreement with Iran." I honestly didn't believe it at first, and I was shocked because I was like, "Oh, Docs will be calling any minute now. Like, I can't wait to talk to Docs about this." And then you never called that night, and I was like, "What's going on?" Turns out you're in the hospital. But as the week went on, I'm skipping through the first 3 quarters of the week, but as the week went on, more and more details kept coming out about this, and it seemed like we kind of just agreed to their 14-point plan, like what they've been saying all along. And Donald Trump, JD Vance, people from the White House, they all kept coming out and saying, no, the stuff that's getting leaked is not what's in the actual deal. You guys are lying, blah, blah, blah. Well, eventually, I think it was on Thursday, the deal came out, and you wouldn't believe it, but all the stuff that was being leaked was correct. It was the deal. They were all denying it, but that's where we're at right now. I want to play this video now because if we only play one video tonight, this is the one that makes me giggle the most. But Lindsey Graham was asked what we achieved with this deal, with 2 months of war in this deal. What did we get out of this? Here's Lindsey.
Here's what we achieved. If this thing goes through Friday, we've opened up the streets, which will help the economy of the world. The world will be in a permanent ceasefire, hopefully, and we'll try to get a nuclear deal with Iran, and hopefully that will work out. If it doesn't, then we still have achieved opening up the streets and stopping the fighting.
Wait, opening up the straits and what?
And stopping the fighting, which is
That
what
was
we.
where we were at before.
So what we achieved is we got exactly back to where we were before we started attacking Iran.
And worse, because now Iran is going to start charging more to use the shipping lanes.
Well, so part of this deal is that they would not charge tolls for 60 days for the duration of this ceasefire period. Now, tolls are illegal. Like it's international law. You can't charge a toll, but you can charge fees. One thing that they've floated is doing what they're going to call environmental impact fees, which are going to be the exact same amount as the toll, but if you call them a fee, either way, right now they are not charging any fees or tolls, and supposedly that's how it's supposed to be for 60 days while we try to do the ceasefire. After that,
Andy, when is gas going to get down to under $3 a gallon like it was before Trump took office?
so I'll say this. It did drop like a rock in the couple days after this announcement. Apparently, it's going to drop to a certain point. I don't know what that point is, and then it's going to stay there for a little while because we have to build back up reserves all around the world, and then it'll continue dropping. But I'd say it could get around three. It's not going to get back to where it was for quite a while, but it could get around $3, maybe. We'll see. Um,
Hmm.
But to give you an idea of how bad this deal was once it got released, USA Today, which USA Today is pretty nonpartisan, they're not like a left-leaning paper. Their headline was more than 14 weeks, thousands of lost lives, and billions upon billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars later, and it appears America is the one surrendering. That from the USA Today, I thought was pretty stark. Also, I got to pull this guy. I got to pull this guy up just because. Do you ever watch Piers Morgan's show? It's like Piers Morgan Uncensored. I watch that from time to time, and there's this guy named Will Chamberlain who's like a right-wing talking head, and he is the guy that will defend anything Trump does. Like, if you think, wow, this is bad, who could possibly defend this? Will Chamberlain is there to defend it. Like, he's got no shame whatsoever.
So he's who's the guy on CNN, the right winger?
Scott Jennings.
He's like Scott Jennings.
He's like a younger Scott. If he plays his card right, he will become Scott Jennings.
Okay.
And I've never seen him criticize anything Trump does. His tweet, when the actual deal got released, his tweet was, "We have the text. The deal is absolutely terrible. There's no getting around it. The text gives Iranians huge immediate financial benefits and protection for Hezbollah in exchange for opening the strait and nothing else. President Trump should renege." So nobody's trying to sell this as this was a fantastic deal on our side, and I don't know how you really can. The thing that kills me, and hold on, before we even get to that, this was the other thing, as after everybody started hating on the deal and nobody's really saying anything good about it, JD Vance is the one person. He's been out all week. His book is released this week, so he went on The View. Like, he's been on every show trying to sell his book.
Okay, he's vice president. When does he have time to fucking write a book? We're at war.
I didn't know this, but no sitting president or vice president has released a book while in office. They always wait till they're out of office. He did it now. Whatever.
These people are such grifters. That's why they deserve each other.
Of all the grifting going on, JD Vance's book is like the least of my concerns. Like, yeah, it's grifting, but there's bigger fish to fry. So
100%. Yeah.
But he was going around, and I'll say this, he was taking all the direct questions. Like, he was bullshitting, but he was at least there taking the questions. After things got so bad, he started leaking to people. And this is one example. This is Kristen Holmes from CNN. Vice President Vance tells me that some of the gentlemen's agreements described by U.S. officials are written down, but not in the official MOU, indicating that there are side deals between the U.S. and Iran that haven't been made public. So now he's trying to say that basically, well, no, we got him to agree to a lot of other stuff that's good for us. We just didn't put it in the actual written memorandum of understanding. Why wouldn't you do that? If he's so lying about that, but
yeah,
whatever. It's a little ridiculous. So on that note, JD is getting thrown under the bus hardcore. There's a reason that Trump has him out being the face of this deal, because if it doesn't work, JD is going to take the fall, and it's kind of hysterical. All the pro-Israel side of people are blaming JD for this. Ben Shapiro went off on JD for like a half hour straight yesterday. They're saying he is not serving the president well, is what they're all saying.
Okay.
But when he was on Megyn Kelly actually brought this up to him as far as him being thrown under the bus, and I have a quick clip of that for you.
The deal terms are accurate as has been leaked. It's a complete disaster. He's calling this, by the way, the Vance deal.
I wonder why he doesn't call it the Trump deal.
I wonder too. There is Ben Domenech, who was on Special Report last night, called this a hillbilly Obama deal.
I wonder who that's a reference to.
Seems to be a shot at you, sir. Not bold foreign policy. There's a guy named Yanan Magal, who is an Israeli journalist who's very close with Netanyahu, who is basically his mouthpiece, who called you a lowlife, called Donald Trump a loser. The Israeli ambassador to the United States called this so disappointing. Then there's Mark Levin, who's been rage tweeting about it every 5 minutes. He demands to see the memorandum. He demands that this be treated like a treaty, to where now you have to get congressional approval for the MOU. The Constitution does say you need approval to declare war, which Trump doesn't think he did and didn't seek. But now, and he defended him on that. But now that we're ending it, which you definitely don't need congressional approval for, he wants this treated like a treaty and is demanding you go before Congress, sir.
Yeah, Mark Levin is a complete turd.
Dude, Mark Levin has been so pissed. Ben Shapiro,
Good.
Ted Cruz is complaining a lot. But all the people that said that their greatest mission was to defend Israel, they are very unhappy right now,
But Lindsey Graham seems to be going along with it.
So I'm shocked by Lindsey, and the only reason I think Lindsey's going along with it is Lindsey. He just had his primary, which he won, but he's up for election this time. And if he crosses Trump, he's in South Carolina. It's almost ridiculous to think he could lose, but I think he's not taking any chances. If he wasn't up for re-election in 5 months, I think he'd be singing a different tune.
Huh. Singing what tune though?
I think he'd be complaining about it. I think he'd be just like Ted Cruz,
Oh,
complaining,
he doesn't
saying
want to cross Trump.
exactly.
I was thinking the other way. The Dark Force
No, I don't think.
lobby got him elected, and so now he's not big time into what they're wanting, right? He's
I
not
disagree.
singing their
Yeah,
praises.
I don't think that's the case. I think it straight comes down to he doesn't want to get on Trump's bad side 5 months away from an election that he's up for re-election. Like that. That makes too much sense to me.
But he's got that on lockdown. Like,
he doesn't. In fact, the lady running against Lindsey Graham, she could win in almost any other state. I don't know that she can do it in South Carolina, but she seems like a very good candidate. So it's not a
right.
for sure.
Yeah, if Lindsey Graham won after his last showing, he's gonna keep winning. It's kind of stupid. I don't understand what what is wrong with the people of South Carolina. Like, are they just uneducated?
I mean,
Has he suppressed the education system in South Carolina so bad that they still vote for him?
I don't think it's that. But it's just like when Ted Cruz 4 years ago got reelected in Texas, and it's like nobody likes Ted Cruz. Like I can't find even a Republican that'll say they like Ted
Yeah.
Cruz, but he won. So I think it comes down to just if you have an
Is
R by
is
your name
that an
or a D.
education thing too?
I don't think it's an education thing. I think it's a misinformation thing. I think it's what news channel you're watching. Like
Hmm.
you always try to boil it down to like these people are stupid, and what I always try to explain to
I didn't
you,
say that. I just,
uh,
that's
uneducated.
uneducated. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I,
well,
I
this is a tactic that the right uses. They cut education. They don't want education to be a thing because the more education you actually have, the less likely you're going to vote for the Republicans.
that is proven by every study. The more educated you are, the more likely you are to be a Democrat. I don't know why,
And
but
so if you're a Republican and you want to keep getting elected, don't you cut your education budgets? Like
yeah,
keep the people from getting the education that they deserve?
I think it goes beyond just as simple as that, but I think that's part of the joy for them. I think there's other reasons as well.
Okay.
And also, like, really, the fundamental thing is they want to be able to teach religion in schools, and they realize they can't get away with doing that in public schools, so they're defunding public schools and trying to turn everything into a charter school where you can teach the Bible in classrooms. Like that's what's
Well,
happening.
the politicians don't care if religion's in the schools. They're just I think this is one of those talking points where, you know, they want to keep it alive because it keeps getting them elected.
Well, like in
But
Texas
does
and
Ted Cruz really care if we have the Bible in schools?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yeah, absolutely. Because in Texas and Oklahoma, which are the only two states I have good experience with, but they're doing everything they can every year, every budget to strip more money away from public schools and put it into private schools, private school vouchers, where the whole goal seems to be that they can teach religion in school. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think you got to give, I don't know. I think it's an issue that the politicians use to keep their voters voting.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's I think for the most part. I think there are definitely some politicians that are gung ho put the Bible in school, but
Well, okay, so I'll give you this. First of all, Ted Cruz is a bad example here, but any random Republican running for office, do they personally care about it? Probably not. But do they realize that in order to win their election, they need certain voting blocks, certain groups to back them?
yes.
One of them being the
Yeah.
evangelicals who
Yeah.
really do care about this. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Just like Trump pretended to be a Christian,
Yes,
all these other politicians have been doing it for longer than Trump. He just saw the path forward on
I'll
that.
give you that. I will give
Yeah.
you that. So, uh,
South Carolina's 43rd overall in education.
ooh,
So
well,
they're getting up there with your home state.
I'm 49th, I think, not 50th anymore. Thank you, New Mexico, for kicking me out. We are no longer dead last.
Texas often places between 32nd and 41st. So, I mean,
I left Texas and moved to the one of the only states that's worse than Texas when it comes to education.
yeah.
That's how much I love my daughter right there. Anyhow, so I had a lot of videos pulled from earlier in the week, but then Trump went to the G7 in the last 2 or 3 days, and that made me throw away most of what I had because we have to talk about this. Now, there were three main points to the Obama nuclear deal with Iran. It was called the JCPOA. 3 points that Republicans really hated. Number one, Obama gave them money, and now Obama didn't give them American taxpayer dollars. He unfroze their money that we had been holding for 50 years at that point, or 45 years. And he unfroze it. And several courts had already ruled that we were illegally holding their money and we had to give it back. And for years, we were like, no, we're not gonna. So as part of the deal, he unfroze, I believe it was 1.7 billion is what he ended up giving them. Okay. A lot of money, 1.7 billion. But he did that. He gave them back their own money. His JCPOA did not address the missiles, the ballistic missiles. Republicans thought that part of the deal should be that they're not allowed to have any missiles whatsoever. We didn't even talk about that with them. And then the third was enrichment. We were still allowing them to enrich uranium to 3.67% for a civilian nuclear program. So for the past 10, 11 years, those are the three things Republicans have been bitching about. So you would think any new nuclear deal we have with Iran, we would take care of those three things, right? Wouldn't you just honestly think that? Well, good news. Before Donald Trump went on the stage, and he was on the stage, several different stages. He was every other hour he was talking in front of a mic while he was at the G7. But it's like somebody injected him with truth serum before he went out there, or before he went just for the day. He was being incredibly honest, which I'm gonna feel bad saying this, but like there's times I don't want my president to be honest. Like when you're talking to the world, there's certain things I'd almost rather you lie about. He was too honest here. And I feel bad saying Trump was too honest, but follow me on this. First of all, everybody's trying to say that like the people that hate the deal that he signed are saying, why would we have done this? We had Iran on their knees. Like they were just about to surrender. They were at their weakest point ever when we gave them this lifeline. I don't see it that way at all. And I think that comes down to the two different realities. Are you in the Fox News bubble or are you paying attention to what's really going on? But if anything, they had brought us to our knees. Like for the past month, we kept talking about how the reserves are running down. Sometime in July, gas prices are going to double. Like we were coming to the end of our rope when it comes to gas and the economy. The White House kept denying that. They were saying, no, we can do this for months. Like we're good to go. Trump was incredibly honest about this at the G7. Check this out.
The alternative would be a worldwide depression. You know, the stupid people want to have a worldwide depression, and they're stupid people. So you can only go so far. You drive somebody into the ground, and a lot of bad things happen. Number one, the Strait would never open because they don't like floating billion-dollar ships up and down a strait when there are rockets flying over them and mines all over the place. So the Strait would never be open. It wouldn't be open for a long time. Now, if I did the opposite, if I went out and continued to bomb them for another 4, just bomb the hell out of them, I'd get bad press on that. No, there's nothing I can do. But what this does is it allows the ships to go. If we keep bombing, those ships won't be going. And you're talking about $500, $600, $700 million a day. It's a lot of money, a lot of money. That's why the world is okay. It's liquid, it's fine. Also, we run out of reserves in about 4 weeks. You know, there are reserves all over the world, and we would really run out. And there'll be a time when you wouldn't be able to get it. And you want to see bedlam? So for all those so-called geniuses that want to show me how smart they are.
So he said the Strait would have never opened if we didn't sign this deal, meaning America could not have used military force or anything else to open the Strait. The Strait was going to remain closed for as long, and we knew that. A lot of Republicans didn't know that, but we knew that. He said we were 4 weeks away from the world oil reserves running out, and then he said it would have been bedlam. He mentioned depression. I didn't pull any of the clips, but he kept talking about Herbert Hoover. Like he's in several different times. He was like, I don't want to be Herbert Hoover, who led us into the Great Depression. So if anything, it appears Iran had brought us to our knees leading up to this deal being signed. Like we were down to 4 weeks away, and we've talked about this before, but the ships stuck in the Persian Gulf, it takes them between 4 to 6 weeks to get to where they're going. Oil tankers are the slowest moving ships there are. So for them, it would have been like we pretty much had to sign a deal on Friday if we have any hope of those ships getting to their port, getting that oil refined before our reserves run empty. So Iran brought us to our knees. And I love how Republicans are saying, why did he sign this? That was the weakest Iran ever was. No, like if you think that, I'm sorry, but that's not where we were at. So
Yeah. Iran won the war. We somehow, the United States, the greatest superpower on planet Earth, lost a war
so
to Iran.
If the war ends right now, if everything remains the same, then yes, I will agree. So the way I think you should evaluate it is which country is better off now than they were before the war, and which country is worse off now than they were before the war. And I think if it ends like it is right now, you would have to say that Iran came out of this better than they were, and America came out of this worse than they were. So yes, I agree with you. Now,
yeah.
I will say, and everybody's acting like this is a peace deal. This isn't a peace deal. This is a 60-day ceasefire to work on a peace deal. So there's a chance we could go back to bombing them next week, and the war's not over yet. But as of now, we have lost. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, and there's a good chance that the Dark Force starts bombing Lebanon, and then we go back to war again.
Right. Yeah, that happened last night. Just saying. We're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about where we are now in a minute. But I got a couple more things to get through real quick. So, of the 3 points that Republicans hated about the JCPOA, the first one was the money. Donald Trump, it appears, again, we're not giving any taxpayer dollars. Donald Trump keeps saying that, and he is correct. No American money is going there. Now we are unfreezing 24 billion of their dollars, but we're going to give them. I think we already gave them 12 billion, and the other 12 billion is going to come at the end of the 60 days if we reach a deal. Okay. But also, he's helping set up a $300 billion investment fund, and it's going to be all the Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, all those countries are pitching together, but we're helping like organize it. So either way, Iran is getting $312 billion at this point. And remember, they're mad because Obama gave them $1.7 billion. This new deal is $312 billion. So that's the first thing. Second thing was missiles. Any Republican that's going to make a deal with Iran, they better not give them missiles because that's one of their main complaints.
Yeah.
Check this out.
In the history of our country. So we'll be working on a parallel effort with the Gulf nations to address non-nuclear issues such as the conventional ballistic missiles, which we'll be talking about, and support. I mean, they have to have some because other people have some. You got to have some. Somebody said you shouldn't give them more. And I have guys. I like some of these guys, but I don't think they're smart. Sir, you shouldn't let them have any missile. I said, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to let Saudi Arabia have missiles, but they can't have them? Yes, sir. It doesn't work that way, you know. It doesn't work that way. And missiles aren't the problem. They hurt a little location, but they don't blow up the planet. So the Gulf nations will address the non-nuclear issues.
He seems crazy.
I'll say this: he looked bad.
Sure.
The whole G7, he didn't look good. I could have pulled some. They did a group picture. Remember where they used to talk about Biden being like a Roomba? Like after he'd get done talking, he would just kind of wander off in one direction. Trump did exactly that after leaving. They did a picture as a group, and everybody turned and started talking to each other. And Trump just like pulled a Biden and wandered off stage the wrong way. And Macron had to like get his attention and tell him to come back and go that way. There was a photo op where they were all sitting around a round table.
Macron's handling like he's like his
yeah. There was a photo op where they're all sitting around a round table and they want to get a picture. So everybody like that's on the front side turns towards the camera and everybody at the table is looking at the camera and smiling. And Trump's like turned off to the side, just going. They're like not even looking at like he was unaware that everybody else was taking a picture. Anyhow, he didn't look good there, but. Either way, what am I going to do? Tell them that they can't have missiles? Well, I mean, that's what you guys have been saying for a while. Also, his whole impression there of like, I have all these stupid people saying, sir, you can't let them have missiles. For the last 11 years, Donald Trump has been that person saying you can't let him have missiles. So he's making fun of himself there. Yeah. Whatever. So that takes care of the money. The money is worse than the JCPOA. The missiles, same as JCPOA. Last thing was nuclear enrichment. Are we going to let them have a civilian nuclear program? For 11 years, Republicans have been saying, no, we're not going to do that. Let's see what Donald Trump has to say about the situation.
We've been pretty tough on that. You know, it is a little hard, though, when you say that somebody wants it, other people have it, other adjoining states have it, and you're not letting them have it for purposes of electricity and things like that. It's always a little tough. You have to use a little common sense, please.
Yeah, common sense. That sounds nice.
Yeah, we can't tell them they can't have civilian nuclear. I mean, all the other countries around them have it, like common sense. Okay, so this is the JCPOA, except we're giving them 300 times more money than Obama did. Like, sorry, we're not giving them. We're allowing them to have from other people. Whatever. I knew that this would end poorly, but I'm shocked by how poorly this is ending for Trump. Like, I thought he'd get a little bit more out of this. Again, it's not over.
I called it early. I was like, they've got him. Like, once they closed their strategic moves, I knew that was like check and mate.
Yeah, they were talking such a big game about how they could forcefully reopen it. And I was like, oh, if we're willing to lose a lot of ships and possible like servicemen, soldiers, then yeah, I guess we could. And that's the whole thing is I just wasn't sure if we were willing to risk American lives to open it. Turns out we weren't. So
no, yeah, I kind of knew he wasn't going to do that because the sentiment from most Americans was no boots. If we put boots on the ground, you're getting kicked out of office.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, we'll have an update to where we're at with peace here in a second. But the other fantastic thing that happened in the last 24 hours, I hate to say this, but JD Vance is looking very attractive to me right now. Everything JD is saying, I'm agreeing with, and JD is a chameleon. JD will say whatever he needs to say in the moment. Yeah. But yesterday he recorded an interview with the New York Times podcast, and that hadn't come out yet. We knew he'd been talking to them all morning, hadn't seen any clips, and then it turns out JD is running the press briefing that Carolyn Levitt would normally run. She's still out, I think, on maternity leave, so JD is going to run it again. He's been getting killed in the media all week. Might as well send him out there some more. Couple interesting things he said, but the most interesting clip, I want you to listen to this and tell me where you disagree with JD Vance.
What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you have seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in.
I like it.
Wow. Like, he sounds incredibly accurate is all I'm going to say. Like,
it's very, very spot on. Yeah, and so there's got to be another country, right?
I think everybody else is pretty much given up on Israel. I don't want to say abandoned, but
okay, good. And then, wow,
yeah, and I mean, he said more.
Even in America, like our population, I'm guessing there's probably only like 30% still left in support.
Yeah, the people that still support Israel are not really informed as to everything that happened in Gaza or what's happening in Lebanon now. Like, I think those are the people that kind of just don't pay attention. Like, oh yeah, I back Israel. And then if you show them some clips of what they're doing, they'd probably change their mind. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So anyhow, he went on just in that press conference alone. Like, there was a lot more I could have pulled, but like everything he said, like if we said that on our podcast, the algorithm would kill us. Like I'm surprised at what he was saying. And then after he got done, his interview with the New York Times podcast came out, and he was going on and on about Israel. I only pulled one clip from that, but check this out.
Yeah, you've seen people in their system, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, who've attacked the deal. And I guess my response to them would be, what is your exact proposal? And, you're a country of 9 million people. You can't just kill your way out of solving every single national security problem that you have. Look at
Okay.
Dead on accurate. Let's just bomb our way out of this. No, maybe you're gonna have to resort to negotiating, trying to make friends with people around you. But Israel ain't wanting to hear that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So speaking of Israel, this is one of the bigger papers in Israel. The Israel Hayam. I don't know how to say that, but this is the headline. You could have been the greatest president of all, but you failed. And then under that, Mr. President, you have gravely harmed the human interest of the enlightened world, and you may be remembered forever as the president who brought about America's humiliation. You betrayed us, the Israelis, and in a single moment, the contempt you once faced suddenly seems so justified and logical. You know who owns the Israel Hayam?
No.
I'll give you a hint. She gave $250 million to Donald Trump.
Oh, Marion Ellison.
Yeah, so Miriam Adelson, who's one of Trump's biggest financial backers, owns this paper that is attacking Donald Trump right now.
Okay.
That's interesting. And then Trump, who used to be very popular in Israel, suddenly is seeing the downswing. This is Trump's polling in Israel 3 weeks ago versus 2 days ago.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Just from the deal. I mean, yeah, that makes
100%
sense,
from
I
the deal.
guess.
Yeah, they feel like they've been betrayed. He abandoned them.
Now, this is a Cantor poll, so I don't know. Like, I don't trust our polls here very much. Well, like, how am I going to trust a poll in another country?
I'll say this. I believe that's pretty accurate just because the news over there has been going off on him. Their social media is going off. Like they're talking about how they can get revenge on America, just so you know. Like
Are they really?
That's what those citizens are talking about.
Holy shit.
Like there's been all kinds of interviews, like man on the street, going around just interviewing random people. They hate America right now over there. We left them hanging.
There was something recently about they were talking about boots on the ground, right? They wanted and this was coming from Israel. Like, we want American boots on the ground. But there's no mention of like, oh, we'll put our IDF soldiers on boots on the ground
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
no.
Like,
They want They want
so they
Americans.
they want our lives to die over whatever they want.
Yeah, there's no way to say this correctly without getting killed in the algorithm, but they believe that they are the chosen people and that their lives are more valuable than other people's lives, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, to put a big bow on this, everybody's been saying all week that Israel's going to try to sabotage this deal, which I fully agree with. Like, if they can, they're going to try to blow up this ceasefire because they don't like it. The fact I get it from their side. Like, the ballistic missiles are a big threat to them because that's what Iran can hit them with. So they want the deal to include no ballistic missiles. The fact that Trump is saying, no, they should be able to have them. That keeps a balance of power between Israel and Iran. They both have missiles that can hit each other. So they both have
one country has nuclear missiles.
True.
They won't admit it, but they do. Everybody knows they do.
Yep.
In 1 minute.
Nobody will admit it, but anyhow, Trump did an interview with Axios last night, which there was also a lot of gold in this. But they asked Trump if he was going to be able to keep Bibi and Israel in check and keep them from blowing up this deal. Here's Trump's response.
Are you going to be able to control Israel from attacking Lebanon?
Yeah, I will be. I mean, I wonder. They have a lot of respect for me, and they do as I say.
They do as I say.
So you would probably believe me if I told you that upset a lot of people in Israel. Like, that came out at like 6:00 our time last night, and then at about 9:30 our time, reports started coming out that there was a large ground invasion of southern Lebanon. So Trump came out and said, yeah, I can get them to stop attacking. They do as I say. 3.5 hours later, they launched a big invasion. Now, it got nasty last night. I believe 4 Israeli soldiers were killed during the invasion. Ben Gvir, the guy that wants to hang everybody, he came out and said, for every Israeli mother who has tears, there will be 1,000 Lebanese mothers with tears, or something along those lines. I can't remember his whole statement.
You're invading their country.
That's the thing is they act like they were attacked randomly, like they lost soldiers while invading another country. I don't feel too bad for them, but anyhow, so that happened last night. As that was happening, so JD and representatives from Iran were supposed to be flying overnight last night to Switzerland to start the talks today for like nuclear talks. As that was happening, Iran announced that they are not going to have the talks today in Switzerland because of what Israel's. This is part of this ceasefire. The MOU is that the hostilities in Lebanon are supposed to stop. So Israel or Iran said they're not sending anybody. America came out at like 10:30 last night. JD was apparently supposed to board a plane at like 11 o'clock to fly overnight, and we came out at like 10:30 and said JD is no longer going because Iran's not going to be there. And
so this deal hadn't even been signed yet.
No,
I thought
no.
it got signed.
The 60-day MOU has been signed, but that's 60 days to give them time to work out all the other deals. So that's what they're trying to work on now. By the way, let me just stop real quick. Trump ended up Macron must have tricked Trump. Trump ended up signing the MOU while he was in France after he left the G7, and he signed it at Versailles. For any history people out there, there's been some famous treaties. I'm going to say surrenders signed at Versailles. If you're Trump's people, you would not let him sign that in Versailles. You don't let him sign anything in Versailles. That's just a bad look. But he did, whatever. But Iran this morning, and I'm trying to get confirmation on it. About 30 minutes before we started recording, Iran announced that the Strait of Hormuz is closed again. So the Strait of Hormuz was open for about 16 hours, and it appears closed again. I was waiting to see what was going to happen, and I'm seeing that all over Twitter. I haven't seen CNN cover it or anybody yet. The stock market's flat right now. Stock market's not really doing anything.
Yeah, that's what I checked. I was like, the stock market, it's
like
kind of
American news. American news, for whatever reason, isn't covering it, but it appears about an hour and a half ago, Iran announced the strait is closed. We aren't covering it yet for whatever reason. So, So all this might be for nothing. What can I say?
And they closed it because of the attacks on Lebanon.
Yeah, because Israel is violating the MOU, the ceasefire.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, we're just gonna have to cut ties and say like, but I don't think Iran can because we started a war with another country, and I'm pretty sure Trump didn't he say something about crazy people earlier? We were talking about crazy people will allow them crazy people. Those people are crazy.
I don't remember who he was referring to there.
He's referring to the missile. I think letting them have missiles.
Oh yeah, the stupid people that were saying that we can't let them have missiles. Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that might be he was referring to Bibi on that one.
Oh, and it's all. Yeah, I think it's all the Republicans because like that was the couple main things when the deal came out on Thursday. The couple main things Republicans were pissed about was the money, the missiles, and the enrichment. And because they've spent the past 10 years claiming that's what Obama got wrong, so now if they're doing the same thing, they look like a bunch of fools. So.
They always look like a bunch of fools.
Yeah, so we'll see. The strait might be closed, and the whole ceasefire might have already crashed. Like we'll wait and see. The people in Israel are apparently afraid that Trump might pause weapons shipments to Israel and stop helping them shoot down, use interceptors. And if that happened, Israel would get flattened quickly. But I think Israel has it's called the Samson Protocol. Are you familiar with this at all?
Mm-mm.
It's one of those. It's a conspiracy theory, but also several Israeli prime ministers have talked about it on the record. So if you bring it up, people will say, "Oh, that's just a conspiracy." Yeah, I believe it's more than that. But the Samson Protocol is basically, if we're going down, we're taking everybody with us. Like if it appears Israel is about to fall, they are launching the nukes. So, that's the Samson Protocol. Like the world.
Who are they launching these things at?
Everyone.
Even us, because we just
I don't know that they can get them all the way to us. I don't know what their range is, but that's the fear is that, and this is where Trump's kind of in a stuck spot. If Trump says, well, "Okay, screw you, Bibi. Like I told you to stop attacking Lebanon, you're not. So we are not defending you anymore." Well, if that happens and Iran really starts hitting them with missiles, at what point does Israel launch a nuke? And that's where things get really wild. So it's easy to say, like, yeah, Trump should stop defending them, blah, 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 blah. But like, think that out 3 more steps. That's a problem.
So we know they have this agreement
The
There
Samson
is
Protocol?
the Samson Protocol.
Like I said, I guarantee you, if you like Googled it, it would say it's a conspiracy theory. But like Ehud Barak, the former like leader of Israel, talked about it at length in an interview. Like it seems like it's real.
Yeah, I mean, if we know they have this, and they also have nukes, like why are we allowing them to have the nukes?
You know, technically, we're not allowing them because if we acknowledge that they have nukes, then we're not allowed to sell them weapons, period. Because we have it in writing in our constitution. I don't know what it's in, but we can only do weapons deals with countries that have signed the it's no,
JCPOA.
it's the nuclear
What is that?
proliferation agreement or whatever. So
Oh yeah.
every country in the world that has nukes has signed on to this deal agreeing not to use them except for Israel, because Israel doesn't technically have nukes. They haven't admitted that ever, but they've also never signed the non-proliferation deal. So if we, as America, had said, well, yeah, clearly they have them, then technically we would not be able to sell them weapons anymore.
Didn't they steal our technology and our
So
nuclear material to
there was a
build
couple
these things?
deals where spies were caught basically giving our nuclear secrets, but it appears that South Africa was also a part of it. Like they helped them get it somehow. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
Anyhow, that's where we're at. Let's see how the weekend goes. But I'm curious, once news breaks in America that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, like, is the stock market going to tank? Is the stock market pretty much used to this at this point? Are they not going to even react?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. So,
I don't
yay.
know. All
Go
right.
America. Hey, let's close on this. Team America plays their second game. They looked really strong in game one of the World Cup. They play today at 2 o'clock Central against Australia. I'm suddenly a soccer fan. I'm going to be a soccer fan until America gets eliminated. Then I'll go back to not caring about soccer anymore. So
Okay.
go
Well,
USA.
it might happen sooner than later.
It's probably going to happen really quick, but whatever. I'm enjoying it for now. So, all right. Have a
Wait,
good
did
day, buddy.
Iran win?
I don't know if Iran won or not. I'm not
Okay.
positive on that.
Okay,
So
I'm kind of team Iran this year.
that's rough. That's rough, buddy. All right. I'll talk to you later,
The
man.
winners.
Have a good morning.
Later.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.